The stars shone bright against the black of space as the research ship Serenity moved slowly into orbit around the blue-green planet. It was the year 2157, and humans had spread to several star systems near Earth. This new planet in the Ta-Ceti system showed signs of life that made the crew very excited. Dr. Jiho Park pressed his face to the viewing window. He had spent 15 years studying alien life forms, but nothing had prepared him for what his instruments were telling him now. "Captain Kim," he called out, his voice shaking a little. "You need to see this." Captain Da-Jung Kim floated over in the low gravity of the bridge. He was a tall man with serious eyes and gray at his temples. "What have you found, Doctor?" he asked. Jiho pointed to his screen. "These energy readings suggest an advanced civilization on the surface. But there's something strange. No radio signals, no transmissions of any kind. If there's someone down there, they're completely silent." The captain frowned. "Could your instruments be wrong?" "I checked 3 times. There's definitely something down there. Something different." Captain Kim thought for a moment, then nodded. "Prepare a landing party. We'll go see for ourselves." 3 days later, a small shuttle descended through wispy clouds to the planet's surface. Inside were Captain Kim, Dr. Jiho, 4 security officers, and engineer Hae-Nul Lee with her young daughter Su-mei. Hae-Nul held her daughter's hand tightly. "Remember what I told you, Su-mei. Stay close to me at all times." The 8-year-old nodded, her eyes wide with excitement. She hadn't expected to come on this trip. Most children weren't allowed on landing missions, but the Serenity was on a 3-year exploration voyage, and Captain Kim had made exceptions for families. "Will there be aliens, Mom?" Su-mei asked. "We don't know yet," Hae-Nul answered honestly. "That's what we're here to find out." The shuttle landed in a wide field surrounded by strange, twisting trees with silver leaves. In the distance, structures rose that looked like giant crystals catching the light of the planet's sun. Dr. Jiho checked his air monitor. "Atmosphere is breathable. Nitrogen-oxygen mix similar to Earth, but with trace elements I don't recognize." Captain Kim nodded. "Helmets off, but keep them handy. Stay alert." They stepped out onto the soft, purple-tinted grass. The air smelled sweet, like flowers after rain. Su-mei breathed deeply, amazed that she was standing on another world. "Look," one of the security officers pointed toward the crystal structures. Something was moving toward them. Tall, slender figures that seemed to glow from within. They walked with strange, flowing movements, as if they were partly made of light. "First contact protocol," Captain Kim said quietly. "No sudden movements. Dr. Jiho, ready the translator." Jiho nodded, his hand shaking as he prepared the advanced translation device. It could learn and translate any language in minutes, using patterns and context. It had worked on 17 different alien species so far. The beings approached, 5 of them, each at least 7 feet tall. Their bodies shimmered with colors that shifted like the northern lights on Earth. They had no visible mouths, just large, almond-shaped eyes that reflected the world like mirrors. Dr. Jiho stepped forward and made the universal greeting gesture, hands open, palms forward. "We come in peace," he said clearly. The beings stopped. They moved their hands in flowing patterns. Lights pulsed across their skin in complex designs. The translation device remained silent. Jiho tried again, speaking slowly. Still nothing. For hours, the human team tried every greeting method they knew. The beings responded with more light patterns and graceful movements, but the translator couldn't make sense of it. As the planet's sun began to set, Captain Kim sighed. "Set up camp here. We'll try again tomorrow." That night, as the adults discussed their failed attempts at communication, Su-mei sat outside her family's tent and looked up at the strange stars. In the distance, the crystal city glowed with soft, changing colors. "I wonder what they're saying," she whispered to herself, not knowing that soon she would be the first to find out. Morning came with two suns rising over the horizon, one large and orange, the other small and bright white. The human camp buzzed with activity as they prepared for another day of attempted contact. Dr. Jeho hadn't slept much. He sat cross-legged outside his tent, tinkering with the translator device. "Any progress?" Captain Kim asked, offering him a cup of hot tea. Jeho shook his head. "Nothing. It's as if they're using a form of communication our technology can't even detect." "We'll try a different approach today," the captain said. "We'll visit their city." The crystal structures looked even more amazing up close. They weren't buildings in the human sense. They seemed to grow from the ground. And they changed shape slightly when no one was looking directly at them. The entire city pulsed with soft light that flowed through the structures like blood through veins. Sume stayed close to her mother, but couldn't help staring in wonder. "Mom, they're beautiful," she whispered. More of the tall, glowing beings appeared. They moved around the humans with grace, sometimes stopping to observe them with those mirror-like eyes. "I'm calling them the Silent Ones," Dr. Jeho told the group. "Since they make no sound we can hear." One of the security officers, Tadwan, frowned. "How do we know they're friendly if we can't understand them?" "They've had plenty of chances to harm us," Captain Kim pointed out. "They seemed curious, not hostile." Hamul studied the nearest crystal structure. "The technology here is unlike anything we've seen. These structures seem almost alive." While the adults talked, Sumai took out her small sketch pad and colored pencils. She began to draw the Silent Ones and their city. She loved drawing and always carried her art supplies, even to another planet. Dr. Jeho set up equipment that projected holographic images, simple symbols for peace, trade, and knowledge sharing. The Silent Ones watched but gave no clear response that the humans could understand. Hour after hour, the team tried different methods to communicate. They played music, showed pictures, displayed mathematical equations, and attempted to mimic the light patterns of the Silent Ones. Nothing worked. It could be telepathy, Dr. Jeho suggested by the third day, or maybe quantum entanglement at a biological level. Their brains might work completely differently from ours. Captain Kim looked tired. "If we can't establish basic communication, headquarters will want us to leave. They don't like prolonged contact without clear understanding." Sumai sat a short distance away, still drawing. She had filled pages with colorful pictures of the aliens and their shifting crystal homes. She didn't understand why the grown-ups were so frustrated. To her, this place was magical. One of her drawings showed a Silent One standing next to her mother, with a big smile drawn on its face, although the real beings had no visible mouths. Another showed the crystal city with rainbows connecting all the structures. A shadow fell across her paper. Sumai looked up to see one of the Silent Ones standing over her. It was slightly smaller than the others, perhaps younger. Its glow was more blue-green than the adult's white-gold light. Sumai wasn't afraid. She smiled and held up her drawing to show the being. The Silent One tilted its head, looking first at the drawing, then at Sumai. It reached out one long, slender finger and gently touched the paper. "Do you like it?" Sumai asked. The being's skin flashed with patterns of light. Though Sumai couldn't understand, she somehow felt it was pleased. Across the clearing, Haenul noticed her daughter's interaction and started to move toward them, worried. But Captain Kim placed a hand on her arm. "Wait," he said quietly. "Let's see what happens." None of the adults realized it yet, but the first real communication between species had just begun. Not through advanced technology or scientific method, but through a child's simple drawings. The fourth day on the planet brought rain. Soft purple droplets that made the crystal city shine even brighter. The humans stayed in their tents, except for Dr. Jeho, who stood in the rain collecting samples. "The water has minerals I'd never seen before," he told Captain Kim when he returned, dripping wet but excited. "This whole planet is unlike any we studied." Inside her family's tent, Sumai was bored. She had already drawn 20 pages of pictures and had played all the games on her small tablet. She kept thinking about the silent one who had looked at her drawings. "Mom, can I go outside now?" "The rain stopped," she asked. Hanul looked up from her work. "Stay within sight of the camp and wear your tracker. Be back in 1 hour." Sume nodded happily and slipped outside with her drawing pad. The air smelled sweet after the rain, and small rainbow puddles dotted the purple grass. She walked to the edge of the camp where safety markers had been placed. The rules said she couldn't go past them, but she could still see the edge of the crystal city from here. As she sat down to draw, she noticed movement. The smaller silent one from yesterday was watching her from behind a twisted silver tree. Sume smiled and waved. "Hello, do you want to see my new pictures?" The being moved closer, its body glowing soft blue in the daylight. It stopped a few feet away and made a gesture with its hand, almost like a human wave. "I'm Sume," she said, pointing to herself. Then she pointed to the silent one. "Who are you?" The being's skin flashed with patterns of light. Sume couldn't understand, but she wasn't discouraged. "I'll call you Bit," she decided, "because you remind me of bits of starlight." Bit tilted its head, the mirror-like eyes reflecting Sume's face back to her. Sume turned to a fresh page in her sketchpad and began to draw Bit. She used her blue pencil for the glow, adding little sparkles with her silver pencil. "This is you," she said, holding up the finished drawing. Bit moved closer to look. One long finger touched the paper, then touched its own chest. It seemed to understand. Sume smiled. "Your turn." She tore out a blank page and placed it on the ground with a pencil beside it. Bit looked at the paper for a long time. Then, to Sume's surprise, it picked up the pencil with its slender fingers. But instead of drawing, Bit held the pencil up to the light, turning it this way and that. "Like this," Sume said. She took another pencil and drew a simple flower on her pad. Bit watched, then placed the pencil tip on the paper. Slowly, it began to make marks. Not a drawing exactly, but patterns that looked like the light displays on its skin. "That's good," Sume encouraged. For the next hour, they sat together, a human child and an alien being, making marks on paper and showing each other their work. Bit learned quickly, soon drawing shapes that looked like the crystal structures of its city. Back at the camp, Hanul noticed Sume sitting with the silent one. She pointed it out to Captain Kim and Dr. Jeho. "Should we intervene?" she asked, worried. Dr. Jeho shook his head. "Your daughter is doing better than all our technology. Look how relaxed they both are." "Children often connect where adults can't," Captain Kim said thoughtfully. "They don't have our preconceptions." As they watched, Sume stood up and pointed to the sky, then made a walking motion with her fingers. "What's she doing?" Hanul wondered. "Sign language," Dr. Jeho realized. "She's trying to create simple signs to communicate." Bit copied Sume's gestures, its body glowing brighter. "They're playing," Captain Kim said with wonder in his voice. "While we've been trying science, your daughter is building friendship." Hanul felt a mix of pride and concern. "Do you think it's safe?" The captain nodded. "I think it may be our best chance to understand them." Meanwhile, Sume had a new name for her alien friend, but she had no idea that this simple connection would soon change everything. A week passed. Every day, Sume met with Bit at the edge of the camp. They drew pictures, made up simple hand signs, and played games like rock, paper, scissors that Sume taught her alien friend. The grown-ups watched with interest but had their own problems. Despite all their efforts, they still couldn't understand the silent one's communication. "We've tried everything," Dr. Jeho said during the evening meeting. "Visual signals, mathematical sequences, even direct neural pattern analysis." Captain Kim looked tired. "Headquarters is not happy. They want us to return to orbit and reconsider our approach." "But what about Sume's progress?" Hanul asked. She's building real connection. Play is not scientific data, one of the scientists argued. We need measurable results. Captain Kim sighed. We leave tomorrow morning. Perhaps after analyzing what we've learned, we can try again with new methods. After the meeting, Newell found Sumai in their tent, sorting through her drawings. Sumai, we have to go back to the ship tomorrow, she said gently. Sumai looked up, her eyes wide with disappointment. But Mom, I just taught Bit how to play hopscotch. I know, sweetie, but Captain Kim says we need to go back and think about new ways to talk with the silent ones. Can I say goodbye to Bit in the morning? Sumai asked. Newell nodded and hugged her daughter. Of course. Now get some sleep. That night, Sumai couldn't sleep. She thought about Bit and felt sad. They were just becoming friends, and now she had to leave. It wasn't fair. She sat up in her sleeping bag and looked at her mother, who was fast asleep. Very quietly, Sumai put on her shoes and jacket. She clipped on her tracker so her mom could find her if needed. Then she slipped out of the tent. The night was beautiful. Both moons were full, bathing the landscape in silver light. The crystal city glowed with soft colors that shifted and danced. Sumai walked to their usual meeting spot at the edge of camp. She didn't expect Bit to be there, but she wanted to leave a drawing as a goodbye gift. To her surprise, a familiar blue glow appeared among the trees. Bit stepped out, its mirror eyes reflecting the moonlight. Bit, you're awake too, Sumai whispered, happy but trying to be quiet. Bit moved closer, making gentle patterns of light across its skin that Sumai had come to recognize as a greeting. I have to leave tomorrow, Sumai said sadly, making the go-away gesture they had created together. I wanted to give you this. She held out her best drawing, a picture of herself and Bit holding hands under the two suns. Bit took the picture carefully. Then it held out something too, a small crystal that glowed with changing colors, just like the city. For me? Sumai asked, taking it. It's beautiful. Thank you. Suddenly, she remembered something else she wanted to share. From her pocket, she pulled out a small metal box, her most precious possession. This is my music box, she explained. My grandmother gave it to me before she died. It plays music. Do you know what music is? Bit tilted its head, not understanding. Sumai opened the box. A sweet, simple melody began to play. An old Korean lullaby that her grandmother had loved. What happened next took Sumai's breath away. Bit's entire body changed color, pulsing in time with the music. The light patterns that usually moved randomly across its skin now flowed in rhythm with the melody. Sumai, delighted by this reaction, began to hum along with the music. She swayed back and forth, doing a little dance as she often did when listening to the lullaby. Bit watched her closely. Then, to Sumai's amazement, it began to sway too, copying her movements exactly. The light patterns grew brighter, synchronized perfectly with the music. Something special was happening. Something neither the scientists with their advanced equipment nor Captain Kim with his years of experience had managed to achieve. In the simple connection between a song and movement, a bridge was forming. And neither the human child nor the alien being knew that they were about to make history. The music box played its melody again and again as Sumai and Bit swayed together under the twin moons. The crystal city in the distance seemed to pulse with the same rhythm, as if the whole world was joining their dance. Sumai closed her eyes, humming louder. The tune was so familiar to her, a piece of home here on this strange planet. Then she heard something that made her eyes fly open. A sound, not from the music box, but from Bit. At first it was just a hum, matching Sumai's own, but then it changed, becoming clearer, forming shapes that sounded like words. Cheech, child, came the sound, soft but unmistakable. Moo, music, father, friend. Sumai froze, her mouth open in shock. Bit, did you just talk? Bit's body glowed brighter than ever, the light patterns moving fast across its skin. Child, music, friend, It said again, the words more confident this time. You can talk, Sume shouted, jumping up and down with excitement. You can really talk. She grabbed Bit's hand without thinking and started pulling. Come on, we have to tell everyone. Sumai ran back to camp with Bit following, its long legs easily keeping pace. She burst into her family's tent, where Newell was just waking up, alarmed by the noise. Mom, Bit can talk. The silent ones aren't silent anymore. Newell sat up quickly, rubbing her eyes. Sume, what are you talking about? Why are you out of bed? Then she saw the glowing figure behind her daughter and gasped. What's happening? Listen. Sume turned to Bit. Say it again. Say the words. Bit's lights pulsed in that now familiar rhythm. Child. Music. Friend, it said clearly. Newell's eyes widened. She reached for her communicator. Captain Kim, Dr. Jaiho, come to my tent immediately. Something incredible has happened. Within minutes, the entire research team was gathered outside, staring in amazement as Bit repeated the 3 words over and over. It's impossible, one scientist whispered. They have no vocal cords, no physical way to make sounds. Dr. Jaiho was recording everything with shaking hands. They must be vibrating the air in some way we don't understand. But how did this happen? Sume held up her music box. It was my grandma's lullaby. When Bit heard it, the lights on its body started moving with the music. Then we danced together, and it started talking. Captain Kim knelt down to Sume's level. You've done something amazing, young lady. Something all our science couldn't do. Dr. Jaiho was thinking hard. The music, of course. Mathematical patterns in the melody created a translation framework. Sound waves at a frequency they could understand and reproduce. But why could Bit understand Sume and not us? Newell asked, putting her arm around her daughter. Children perceive frequencies adults can't. Dr. Jaiho explained. Their brains are more flexible, more open. The silent ones were probably trying to communicate all along, but at frequencies only children can detect. More silent ones had gathered at the edge of the camp, watching. Bit turned to them and made complex patterns of light. Several moved forward. Try playing the music again, Captain Kim suggested. Sume opened the music box. As the lullaby played, the other silent ones began to glow in rhythm with it. Soon, more voices joined Bit's. Hello, human. Peace. The words were simple but clear. After a week of silence, conversation had begun. Captain Kim smiled at Sume. I think our trip back to the ship will have to wait. Headquarters needs to know about this immediately. Newell hugged her daughter tight. I'm so proud of you. Sume just grinned. She didn't understand why everyone was making such a big deal. To her, it was simple. Music and friendship had built a bridge where science could not. Can Bit come see our ship someday? She asked. Little did she know that this was just the beginning of a much bigger journey. News of the breakthrough spread fast. Within days, the Serenity sent a message to Earth about the first successful communication with the beings now known to everyone as the Silent Ones. The research camp grew as more scientists came down from the ship. They set up special equipment to study the new form of communication. Captain Kim extended their mission by 3 months. Sume became the star of the camp. Every morning, she would go to the meeting area where Bit and other silent ones waited. They learned human words quickly, building their vocabulary hour by hour. We are called One, Bit explained one day, its voice becoming clearer with practice. Not silent ones. One, Sume repeated, smiling. That's a pretty name. Dr. Jaiho recorded everything. It's incredible how fast they're learning our language, he told Captain Kim. Their minds must work differently from ours. What surprised everyone was how the younger Wan learned faster than the older ones. Soon, a small group of Wan children joined Bit every day. They played games with Sume and picked up human words and phrases almost instantly. Like human children learning new languages, Hainul observed. The young always learn faster. As the Huan children learned human speech, the adult humans began to understand the Huan's light-based language. Dr. Jiaho created a special device that could translate the light patterns into sounds humans could hear. 1 month after Sumi's discovery, Captain Kim held the first official meeting between humans and Huan. The leaders of the Huan arrived in flowing robes that shimmered with complex patterns. Captain Kim wore his formal uniform. Sumi sat between them, serving as both translator and peacekeeper. "We have watched your kind for many years," said the Huan leader, whose name meant keeper of ancient light in their language. "Many star travelers come to take, to destroy. We hide, we watch, we wait. We come to learn and share knowledge," Captain Kim replied. "Earth believes in peaceful contact between worlds." The Huan leader's body glowed softly. "The child showed us truth. No fear, pure heart. Music that speaks without words." Sumi blushed as everyone looked at her. "Will you share your knowledge with us?" Dr. Jiaho asked, "and allow us to share ours with you." The Huan leader was silent for a moment, light patterns flowing across its skin in complex waves. "Yes, but slowly, with care. Start with children who see clearly." And so began the first cultural exchange program. Each day, a group of human children from the ship came down to the planet to meet with young Huan. They played games, shared stories, and learned each other's languages. Bit became the leader of the Huan children. It was especially good at explaining Huan concepts to humans. "Our city is alive," Bit told Sumi as they walked among the crystal structures. "It grows from our thoughts, our feelings, all connected." Sumi tried to understand. "Like a computer that reads your mind." Bit made a sound like gentle laughter. "No, like family, all part of one big family." The adults had their own exchange. The Huan shared knowledge about the planets in nearby star systems. The humans shared medical knowledge and art from Earth. "They've been watching us for over 50 years, Captain Kim told his crew after one meeting. "They saw our wars, our pollution, our conflicts. They weren't sure we were ready for contact." "What changed their minds?" someone asked. Captain Kim looked at Sumi, who was teaching a group of Huan children to play hopscotch nearby. A child who approached them with no fear, no judgment, just friendship and music, he said. "Sometimes the simplest gestures speak the loudest." Little did anyone know that this simple exchange was about to reveal something much bigger, something that would change both species forever. 2 months after the first words were spoken, the Huan invited Captain Kim and select members of his team to their sacred meeting place deep within the Crystal City. Sumi was included at the special request of the Huan. They walked through passages that seemed to shift and change around them. The crystals hummed with soft music that reminded Sumi of her grandmother's lullaby. "The city is singing," she whispered to Bit, who walked beside her. Bit nodded. "The city knows you now. It remembers your music." They entered a large round room where the oldest Huan waited for them. This elder's light was not bright like the others, but deep and rich, like the glow of an old star. "Welcome, humans," the elder said in a voice that seemed to come from the walls themselves. "I am First Light, oldest of the Huan. I have lived for 500 of your Earth years." Captain Kim bowed respectfully. "We are honored to be invited to this sacred place." First Light's gaze moved to Sumi, the child who broke our silence. "Come closer, young one." Sumi stepped forward, nervous but curious. "Do you know why we have asked you here today?" First Light asked. Sumi shook her head. "We wish to tell you our story," First Light said. "The Huan were among the first beings to travel between stars. When your ancestors still lived in caves, we had already visited 100 worlds. Images appeared in the crystal walls, strange planets, ancient ships, and stars long since burned out. We built great cities on many worlds. We learned how to use energy without harm, how to heal any disease, how to live in balance with all things. Dr. Jaiho watched with amazement. Your civilization must be millions of years old. Yes, First Light agreed. But now we face our end. The images changed to show one whose light was fading, crystal cities crumbling. We are dying, Bit asked, sounding afraid. It was the first time Sumai had seen her friend scared. Our genetics are failing, First Light explained. Each generation, fewer children are born. Those who are born have weaker light. In a few hundred years, the last one will fade. But why? Hey Newell asked. With all your knowledge, can't you fix the problem? We have tried for 1,000 years, First Light said. But our bodies have become too perfect, too unchanging. We cannot adapt anymore. Evolution has stopped for us. Captain Kim frowned. I'm sorry to hear this, but why tell us? What can we do? First Light's glow brightened slightly. Humans are young. Your bodies still change, adapt, evolve quickly. Your genetics are messy, but strong. Dr. Jaiho suddenly understood. You think human genetics might help solve your problem. We have studied your DNA since you arrived. First Light confirmed. There is compatibility, a way to save both our peoples. Both? Captain Kim asked, surprised. Are humans in danger too? First Light made a gesture, and new images appeared. Earth with rising seas, terrible storms, and dying forests. Your world is changing in ways you cannot survive. First Light said gently. In 200 years, Earth will not support human life as it does now. The humans looked at each other with shock and fear. We have technology to help. First Light continued. Ways to heal your planet, but we need your help to save our people. Sumai looked at Bit, who seemed just as surprised as she was. So we can help each other? She asked. First Light's light pulsed warmly. Yes, child. Together, perhaps both our kinds can have a future. Captain Kim's face was serious. This is beyond my authority to decide. I must contact Earth government immediately. We understand, First Light said. But remember, it was a child who brought our worlds together. Perhaps it will be children who save them. As they left the sacred chamber, Sumai held Bit's hand tightly. The future of two species now hung in the balance, all because of a simple music box and a child's open heart. 3 weeks after Captain Kim sent his report to Earth, a large ship arrived in orbit around the Huan planet. It carried Ambassador Jun Seo Choi and a team of experts in science, medicine, and diplomacy. The landing area buzzed with activity as the diplomatic shuttle touched down. Captain Kim stood at attention, with Dr. Jaiho and other key team members beside him. Sumai and Bit watched from a short distance away, holding hands. Do you think they'll help us? Bit asked, its light patterns showing worry. I hope so, Sumai answered. But grown-ups can be complicated sometimes. Ambassador Choi was a tall, serious man with gray hair and sharp eyes. He greeted Captain Kim formally, then turned to the Huan representatives with a careful bow. I bring greetings from Earth, he said. Our leaders are very interested in what you have shared with us. First Light stepped forward, glowing softly. Welcome, Ambassador. We hope for understanding between our peoples. The first meetings were tense. The human experts asked many questions about Huan technology and genetics. Some seemed afraid, others excited. They don't trust us, Bit told Sumai later that day. They think we want to change humans into Huan. That's silly, Sumai said. First Light said we can help each other, not change each other. While the adults met in the big tent, Sumai had an idea. She gathered all the human children from the Serenity and the young Huan who had learned to speak. Let's show them how we can work together, she told the group. Let's make something special. For 3 days, the children worked secretly. The human kids taught the Huan songs from Earth. The Huan taught the humans how to make simple light patterns with special crystals. Together, they created a performance. On the 4th day, When Ambassador Choi was about to have another difficult meeting with the Hwan leaders, Sumai and her friends were ready. "Excuse me," she said, walking into the meeting tent. "We have something to show you." The adults looked surprised, but First Light's gentle glow showed amusement. "Let us see, Ambassador. Children often see what we cannot." Outside, 20 children, human and Hwan, stood in a circle. At Sumi's signal, they began to sing an old Earth song about friendship. The Hwan children created beautiful light patterns that danced with the music. The human children held small crystals that glowed in harmony with their Hwan friends. It was simple but powerful. The melody floated in the air while the lights painted pictures of both worlds coming together. When they finished, there was silence. Then Ambassador Choi stood up and did something surprising. He clapped. Soon all the adults were clapping, even the Hwan, who had learned this human custom. Sometimes First Light said quietly to the ambassador, "The future is best seen through young eyes." That evening, Dr. Jaiho presented his research to everyone. He showed how human DNA could help the Hwan problem of genetic stagnation. Then a human doctor explained how Hwan technology could help solve Earth's climate crisis. "Both sides have what the other needs," Dr. Jaiho concluded. "Working together, both our species can survive and thrive." Ambassador Choi stood up. His face was serious, but his eyes were kind. "When I came here, I had many doubts. But I have seen enough. I will recommend to Earth government that we begin a program of knowledge exchange." Cheers erupted from the humans. The Hwan's bodies pulsed with bright, happy light. "It will start small," the ambassador cautioned. "Trust must grow slowly." But today marks the beginning of a new chapter for both our worlds. As everyone celebrated, Sumai and Bit slipped away to their favorite spot under the silver trees. "We did it," Sumai said happily. Bit's light glowed warm and bright. "No, you did it, Sumai. You spoke, and we finally heard." 1 year passed since the first contact with the Hwan. The small research camp had grown into a proper settlement. Dome-shaped buildings housed laboratories, classrooms, and living quarters for the humans who now worked side by side with the Hwan. Sumai stood at the window of her new home, watching the two suns rise over the Crystal City. So much had changed in a year. "Sumai, breakfast is ready," called her father from the kitchen. Min-Ho Lee had joined them 6 months ago when Earth approved the permanent research station. He was an engineer like Hae Newell and helped build the new settlement. "Coming, Dad," Sumai called back. At 9 years old now, she was taller and her hair was longer, but her bright eyes and curious nature remained the same. After breakfast, Sumai went to her favorite place, the Joint Learning Center. Here, human and Hwan children studied together each day. The large open room had one side designed for humans with tables and chairs, and another side for the Hwan with light pools and crystal formations. In the middle was a shared space where both species could be comfortable. Bit was already there, its blue glow a little brighter and stronger than a year ago. The genetic research was showing promising results. "Good morning, Sume," Bit said clearly. All the young Hwan now spoke perfect human language. "Good morning, Bit," Sumai replied, but not with words. Instead, her hands made flowing gestures, while small lights on her wristband flickered in patterns. She was learning the Hwan light language, and though it was difficult, she practiced every day. Bit's light pulsed with happiness. "Your light speaking is getting better. You said good morning perfectly." Their teacher, Dr. Jaiho, called the class to order. Today they were learning about the history of both worlds. On the walls, images of Earth and the Hwan homeworld appeared side by side. "Our two species evolved very differently," Dr. Jaiho explained. "But we both value knowledge, peace, and the well-being of our children. These shared values have made our partnership possible." After class, Sumai and Bit went to the research center where their parents worked. Scientists from both species were studying samples under special microscopes. "Look at this," Hae Newell said when she saw the children. She showed them a screen with colorful patterns. The modified genes are working. The new generation of Huan should have stronger light and better health. And the Huan environmental technology is already helping on Earth, Minho added. The test sites show a 40% reduction in air pollution. Suma smiled at Bit. See, I told you we could help each other. That evening, a special ceremony was held in the center of the settlement. Both humans and Huan gathered to celebrate the one-year anniversary of the official partnership. Captain Kim, now Admiral Kim and director of the joint project, spoke first. 1 year ago, we began this journey together. Now we stand at the beginning of a new era for both our peoples. First Light spoke next, its deep voice echoing. For millions of years, the Huan walked the stars alone. Now we have found friends who will walk with us into the future. Then it was Su Mai and Bit's turn. They had been chosen to represent the children of both species. Su Mai stepped forward. My grandmother used to say that sometimes the smallest things can make the biggest difference, like a music box that helped two worlds talk to each other. Bit stood beside her, glowing softly, and like a human child who wasn't afraid to be my friend. Together, they pressed a button. A crystal pillar in the center of the gathering lit up, projecting an image of both planets circling their suns. To the future, everyone said together, humans with words and Huan with light. As stars appeared in the evening sky, Sumai thought about how one simple act of friendship had changed everything. The silent ones were silent no more, and the universe seemed a little less lonely now. In the distance, the crystal city glowed with new life, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness of space.